Students must also know the difference between gap and difference kind of question from those of lowest common multiple. Let's read the gap and difference questions on the left side first. Tom put some pens into a certain number of boxes. If he puts 9 pens in each box, he will be short of 4 pens. If he puts 12 pens in each box, he will be short of 19 pens. So how many boxes are there, and how many pens does Tom have? For scenario A, okay, he put 9 pens in each box, and then there is this ... here because you don't know how many boxes are there. But when this happens, he will be short of 4 pens, so he don't have so much. So up to this line shows the actual number of pens he have only. Then for scenario B, so each box got 12 pens, then also got ... because you don't know how many boxes are there. But when this happens, he's short of 19 pens, he don't have that much. So the actual number of pens that he have on his hand is still up to this line only, which is the same for both scenarios, because it just shows that whatever pens that he have only. The first step is to find the difference between the number of pens in each box, which is called the difference. Okay, so there's a difference of 3 pens in each box between the two scenarios. Then the total difference between the number of pens he is short of between the two scenarios is found out by taking 19 minus 4, which is this 15 pens difference, and this is called the gap. Bearing in mind that the number of boxes for both scenarios is the same, because the question says that he put the pens into a certain number of boxes. Therefore, the number of boxes here for scenario A would be the same number of boxes for scenario B. So if you have put an additional of 3 pens in each box in scenario B, you would have caused a total difference of 15 pens that is short of between the two scenarios. So you take 15, which is the total difference of the number of pens that he is short of between the two scenarios, divided by 3, which is the difference of just 3 pens in each box between the two scenarios, to find out that actually there are only 5 boxes there, which means that in scenario A, down here there are actually 5 boxes. In scenario B, there should also be 5 boxes only. To find the number of pens, you can choose scenario A, that means you use 5 boxes and 9 pens in each box, so 5 times 9 to give you 45 pens. But Tom doesn't have so many pens. In scenario A, when this happens, he will be short of 4 pens, so 45 minus 4 is 41 pens. Or you can use scenario B as well. Scenario B is also 5 boxes, but 12 pens in each box, so 12 times 5, 60 pens. But he doesn't have so many pens, he's short of 19 pens, so 60 minus 19 to get also 41 pens. Let's look at the lowest common multiple question on the right side. Tom has some pens. If he puts them into boxes of 4 pens, he will be short of 7 pens. If he puts them into boxes of 5 pens, he will be short of 8 pens. What is the least number of pens Tom has? For this question, you have to use the listing method. Let's look at scenario A, the second column. The question says that he puts them into boxes of 4 pens, which means that they never tell you how many boxes are there, so you have to try it out on your own by listing. So let's say that there are only 2 boxes, so 4 pens in each box. You would need a total of 8 pens, but he don't have so many pens, he is short of 7 pens, so you take 8 minus 7, which the actual number of pens that he has is only 1 pen, so this row shows you the actual number of pens that he has. So you look at the next column. Again, you go and try yourself. If there is 3 boxes and each box there's 4 pens, he will need a total of 12 pens, but again he don't have so many pens, he's short of 7 pens. So 12 minus 7, the actual number of pens he have is only 5. Then you should continue listing for scenario A. For scenario B is also the same, so let's try this column. So you yourself go and list down. For example, if there is 3 boxes, then for scenario B is that there are 5 pens in each box, so 3 boxes, 5 pens in each box, there should be a total of 15 pens. But again, he don't have so many pens. He will be short of 8 pens. So 15 minus 8, the actual number of pens he have is only 7. So for scenario B, also the same. You continue to list. So when must you list until? You are supposed to list until the actual number of pens. Actual number of pens is the same for both scenarios. So this row and this row, you have to sift out the number which is the same. So you can see that 17 is the first number that appears to be the same under the actual number of pens for both scenarios. And 17 would be the answer because they asked for the least number of pens. If you continue listing, you'll realize that there will be some numbers further down which appears to be the same under the actual number of pens for both scenarios as well. But you don't have to because they ask for the least number of pens. So the very first number which appears to be the same under the actual number of pens for both scenarios, that should be the answer already. One thing to take note of is that the number of boxes will be different for both scenarios. If you look at scenario A, when the actual number of pens is 17, the number of boxes is actually 6. Whereas for scenario B, the number of boxes is actually 5. So for lowest common multiple kind of question, the number of groups, which in this case is the number of boxes, should be different for both scenarios. Because the question only say that he put them into boxes of 4 and boxes of 5. If you have 17 pens and you put them into boxes of 4 or boxes of 5, of course the number of boxes you get will be different for both scenarios, and the remainder or the number of pens that is being shot off for both scenarios will be different as well. So for the lowest common multiple question, the number of groups, which is in this case the number of boxes, is different for both scenarios, whereas for the gap and difference question, it is the same for both scenarios. Which you have seen just now, there are 5 boxes for both scenario A and scenario B in the gap and difference question. For the number of items, which in this case the number of pens, it should be the same for both scenarios in the gap and difference question as seen here, because it just means whatever amount of pens Tom has in the first place. Same as for the lowest common multiple question. With this, you can only use the listing method for the lowest common multiple question, whereas for the gap and difference question, of course, you should use the gap and difference method, or you can do by listing as well, which I will not show you today.